talk to, there are anywhere from 12 to 20 million illegal, undocumented immigrants in this country. I'm wondering what you would propose to do about that.
Well, I'll just say this. I have done it on the Montgomery City Council. Back in 2008, I was the chairman of a committee that addressed illegal immigration, and we wrote and passed a law in the city of Montgomery that will allow the city of Montgomery to pull your business license if you are knowingly harboring illegal aliens at your place of business. And not only did we craft that law and pass that law, we also sent letters attaching that law to all other 66 counties in the state asking them to join us, and we sent a resolution to the Alabama state government asking them to join us. I recently read the Arizona law, and I'm happy to report that a good portion of that law in Arizona is almost a mirror image of what we've done in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, I commend the government and the governor and the legislature in Arizona for picking up where the federal government has failed us. And they have failed us. They wrote the Immigration Nationality Act, and they put a preemptive clause in there and said, we're the only ones that get to enforce this, yet they're not enforcing it. I also know that 17% of all the illegals that are crossing over the border in Arizona already have a felony record in the United States of America. This is an unbelievable issue and problem, and I will not support one bill that has anything to do with amnesty whatsoever. We absolutely must. We need to call those who are currently in office to task on their inability to uphold the law that they gave themselves the only ability to do so. So I have a record when it comes to immigration, and I plan on taking that same commonsensical approach up to Washington, and we can get something done.
National defense, immigration is absolutely tied to national defense. They're hand in hand. You cannot talk about one without the other. Okay? So first and foremost, we definitely got to do the things you talk. E-Verify is a great way to hold businesses accountable to make sure they're not hiring illegal immigrants. Getting rid of the social programs. Again, all the remarkable and wasteful spending for the social programs that are making it so comfortable for them to be here. Arizona now is talking about changing the U.S. Constitution or proposing to change the Constitution that specifies what the anchor baby law was supposed to be for. So it's clarified that it's not for illegal immigrants to come here, have a baby, and be able to stay. Okay? We need to uphold our immigration laws and tighten them. There should be consequences for coming to our country illegally. We should treat our borders in our country like we do our doors at our home. And I'll tell you right now, someone who served in the military understands you want to fight your enemy abroad. I would much rather have immigrants fought on our borders than me having to do it with my own gun rights at my front door. You have multiple layers of security in any given environment, whether it's a network or whether it's your nation. And we can start doing that by bringing our troops back from some of these places we shouldn't be, including Germany and Japan, which are solid allied nations. We don't need major troop presences there anymore. Let's bring those troops back. Let's make a small change to our internal law here and let them start enforcing the border. I guarantee you, as mean as it sounds, if some of these illegal immigrants that are coming across the border, many are drug lords, many are gang members, many are hidden Al-Qaeda leaders and radical Islamists that are coming here to penetrate our government from within, start losing their lives on the borders because they're crossing a line they shouldn't be crossed, I guarantee you'll project strength across the nation. They will know there's consequences for coming to this country without signing the guest book as you come in, and it'll put an immediate stop to the problem that comes across our borders today. And then from internally, again, you uphold the laws, you get rid of the social programs that's feeding them being here comfortably, and then you start sending them back over the border as you can.
Great meeting. Oh, you have one?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have Mark Roden. How will your knowledge of the law help you to combat Democrats and liberals' constant attempts to undermine the Constitution and try to affirm us rights like yours did?
Well, I appreciate you asking that question. I'm really, my time on the Montgomery City Council has afforded me an opportunity as a legislator to understand what it means to not only craft laws, but craft laws that can be upheld and that can be enforced. And my legal background and my legal education, I believe, has played a huge role in my ability to not only understand the laws that we're writing, but also be able to look back and understand the laws that have currently been passed. And so, I would just submit to you that as part of my background and who I am and what my abilities are, that I believe that having that education and having that experience as a legislator, that I can, on the City Council, that I can take that same working knowledge with me to Washington when it comes to specifically, and as we've said many times tonight, constitutional issues. Thank you.
As a board of registrar, there's not currently a way for us to guarantee that someone who's registering to vote is in fact a citizen. They have to state on there, they have to check the box that they are, and they sign saying that they understand that they're supposed to be telling the truth. But a lot of times they're given the option of a driver's license number or a social security number, which doesn't guarantee that you're necessarily a citizen. And sometimes, if it's not an Alabama one, there's no way for us to verify that. And so, would you propose some kind of a way that we would be able to, in having people vote for our elected officials, to guarantee that they are in fact citizens?
I believe that's a state issue more than it's going to be a federal one. So it'd be up to the state legislatures to make that decision. But I'll tell you personally, I absolutely believe we must be verifying who's going to the ballots and voting. We need tighter voting laws. There's no doubt about it. If you're not going there with some kind of form of photo ID and proof you're who you say you are, then absolutely it's a risk to all of our political process, and that needs to be addressed.
I mean, we do everything that we can given the information that we have.
Sure.
But we're not allowed to ask. And so if they don't provide everything and it can't go through the DMV, and even if it goes through the DMV, that's not a guarantee.
Right. And I would just add to, that as far as, it certainly is an issue, and it's an issue that we face all across this state. But then, when you take it back to, in relation to the question about the immigration law, is that we are given very few tools all across the board in order to enforce the law. And I go back to that preemptive clause. We had to write a law in Montgomery based on one exception, which is business licenses. And so the federal government has really given local governments very little to work with when it comes to these problems.
Something similar to that, but dealing with the Republican Party in our primary system. Is there any way that the state Republican Party will make a ruling or a decision so that Democrats cannot interfere with the Republican primaries, since the Democratic Party does have a ruling that the Republicans can't vote in theirs? So,